You can spot your activations in even the most remote places of the planet. SOTAmate, coming up next on the Traveling Ham. Let's go.
Okay, folks, here's the deal.
I'm at the bottom of the Grand Canyon.
This is going to be a special one. We're way up this mountain.
This is the operating station here.
Kilo Echo Zero Victor India Mike Park Depart.
The traveler has come.
He was a huge, beastly, bulging man. Plates were from Kansas.
Hey folks, it's Mike, Kilo Echo Zero Victor India Mike, the Traveling Ham. And let's say about 4 months ago, that's you and I, we activated from one of the most inhospitable places in the world at the bottom of the Grand Canyon. It was successful to the point that we made 39 contacts, including 2 over 2,000 miles away to Connecticut and Alaska. If you haven't seen any of the Grand Canyon activation videos, there's 3 different formats that you can watch. The first is a short format version, musical montage, I call it. It's about 6 minutes long. If you're more interested in the entire adventure as a whole, there is a longer, I think it's about a 40 to 50 minute version. And then the third version is the radio ops only. It's a little over an hour with as few cuts as possible. I'll link all 3 of those videos at the end of this one. Now, there are a lot of reasons why an activation like that is successful, but one big one was I was able to spot myself from the bottom of the Grand Canyon using SOTAmate. Obviously, no internet service at all. We spotted ourselves using nothing more than an offline cell phone. I've been so excited to share this with you guys for months, but I haven't been able to do it because I've been a 1-camera operation, and that's my cell phone, that's my iPhone, and that's what I have to use to set up SOTAmate. So while I was down in the canyon, I couldn't even film myself doing this, which is doing it a huge disservice. We're gonna correct that today. I've got a GoPro and we're gonna get this on film. That canyon activation, I'd been mulling around in my head for over a year and a half, and it wasn't until 10 days before I was gonna hike down the canyon that I myself saw a post about SOTAmate. And I thought to myself, I got to figure this out now. SOTAmate is going to get this done for me. I put it together in a couple days. It wasn't complicated. I'll show you how to do it. There is one caveat. There is a big con to this system. See if you can catch it in this presentation. I'll tell you about it at the end. SOTAmate was developed obviously for the SOTA activators, but it is programmed to work for both SOTA and POTA. Again, there's preparation work that you have to do on the internet. Let's walk through all those steps now. And how it works is you pre-program the system with a number of variables. You're going to put in the system what states you would activate POTA or SOTA in. And from that, it will calculate how many parks or peaks, depending on your pleasure, is in that area. You'll also select which bands and modes that you can work on and the frequency ranges that you will activate within. What SOTAmate is then going to do is it's going to create a list of all the possibilities. It's going to multiply out all those possibilities up to a maximum limit of 1 million combinations. The reason for that is when you are out in the field, you're going to transmit your information via FT8. And of course, there's a character limit to an FT8 message. So what SOTAmate does is it looks for your FT8 signal, which will tell SOTAmate which combination to spot. Okay, great. So all the preparation work is completed. You're out in the field and you're ready to activate. Now what? Once you've found a clear frequency, you're going to put in all the typical information into the SOTAmate app. Again, you're not online, but you have taken that information from the internet while you were hooked up to the internet, downloaded it all, and pre-programmed the app with all the information that it needs. Now offline, it can do everything that you want it to do. Okay, another step in the preparation here. I don't know if you can see that on the screen there, but there's a little bar here that sets the volume level. And what you want to do, you want to practice this a couple times before you get out on your activation and set that volume level on your phone so it's the appropriate level into your microphone so that you don't overdrive your ALC for FT8. All right, so I'm just gonna go into the system here. Why isn't it working? Oh, I'm getting SOTA every once in a while. Make sure you're getting SOTA, not POTA, not SOTA. Okay, so I'm in SOTAmate now. We'll pretend as though we are in the Grand Canyon, first you're going to hit the SOTA spot button at the bottom of the screen, and that opens up your Spot Me page. Okay, I'm going to enter my location as US Arizona. It gives me a little scroll screen with all the states that I've input for it. And I then enter the park number 0030. That tells it I'm activating Grand Canyon. I'm going to do that on 20 meters. So I pick the category that I set up for 20 meters, which is 14,225. That's the lowest frequency on which I would transmit. And then when I do that, it gives me a scroll wheel. When I select frequency, now it's going to use that category to generate all the selections. Okay, and I told it to start at 14,225. And then give me a selection for every kilohertz above that. So I'll have a selection for 14,226, 227, 228, all the way up to 14,347. Okay, so let's say we're going to use 14,326. I'll pick that frequency. Okay, now I'm done and I'm ready to transmit. So I'm going to get my trusty FT8 here. I'm going to have it set on the FT8 frequency, 14,074. Pick whatever, it can be any band, pick whatever band makes sense in your location, your time of day, your time of year, your situation, your activation. My band of choice for the Canyon was on 20 meters. And then there's this button here that says play FT8 audio. And what's going to happen when I push that button is it's going to look at the FT8 clock and it's going to sync up automatically with when it needs to transmit. So you'll get a countdown that could be anywhere from 1 second to 14. And be ready with your microphone. And I'm just going to sit here like this. And when it counts down to 0, I'm going to push in the mic and it's going to start transmitting. You just got to be careful not to talk while you're doing it, or be in an environment where there's no noise, or you'll transmit that noise over FT8. Okay, there's no digital interface. There's no sound card for the radio. Again, all it is the phone. The phone is creating the sound. It's going to go right into the microphone and into the FT8 system. The listening stations are going to pick up on my signal, report it to SOTAmate, and SOTAmate will spot me on the POTA spotting app. Okay, let's see how it goes. Playing FT8. 4 seconds. 3, 2, 1. Make sure it's up all the way. This is transmission number 1. Now we're on frequency number 2. Here's frequency number 3. And frequency number 4. So you're only away from your frequency for about a minute. Hopefully it stays clear for that period of time. You should be okay. I would just check your QRL. Is the frequency in use? Is the frequency in use? Seems clear. Go right to the FT8 frequency. Make your transmissions for a minute. Come back and that frequency should still be clear. And that's all there is to it, guys. It is that easy. So I went online and did a little research. On your login page, you can go to the selection that is HF activity and see all the times that you have been spotted. So I logged in using my call sign and I looked up my activity and I was able to look up every single time one of my transmissions was received by a station. So I spotted myself 3 different times. There was the initial activation spot on 20 meters and then 2 after that on frequencies on 40 meters. Okay, the first spot happened on 4:52 p.m., which is just before midnight. So that'd be UTC date would have been October 5th, about to become October 6th. So UTC time, that'd be 23:52. I got received on 17 different occasions, and you only need 1. So I got the 1 plus 16 times the redundancy to make sure that that signal was heard. Okay, well, maybe we got lucky that one time. The next spot, when I moved to 40 meters the first time, happened just after midnight. So UTC time would be 0:48 on the 6th of October. That spot on the 5 transmissions was received 20 times, 3 more times than the previous. And then at 6:07, we did it again after changing frequencies on 40 meters, and that spot was heard 23 times. So this was wildly successful with layers of redundancy. Absolute knockout home run. Additionally, I can tell you that I was received by 13 different stations around the country, and I'll create a contact map to show you where all those were. And in fact, some of the stations that received the FT8 spotting message were a good distance themselves. One was in Maine, another was in Anchorage, Alaska. So even those spotting messages on FT8 from 5,000 feet down in the canyon did make it out to remote locations. In addition to spotting your activations, SOTAmate can also send messages. Again, it does require some presets, which makes the messaging bit a little bit clunky. What I did before going down into the canyon is I made 3 potential messages to my wife's cell phone. These are going to be SMS text messages. One of them was we're at the bottom and we're fine. One of them is we made it to the bottom with some problems, but we're doing okay. And another one just for fun that said, in trouble, please send help. Okay, we had to have all those preset, and I'm gonna have to send one of those messages. When you're offline, you can't create anything new. So the messages have to stay basic and generic. But in this case, I had enough in there. If I needed to call for help, I could. Now, of course, at the bottom of the canyon, there's tons of people down there. This is a very populated area. I probably would need to call for help. So I think we can put it to rest, guys. The system works. The system works just fine. This is something I would highly recommend. So, okay, what's the one big drawback? The thing I can't wrap my head around is the fact that when you go to FT8 and you transmit on 5 different frequencies, you have no way of knowing if someone is already transmitting on that frequency. Now, it's said that if 2 stations transmit on top of each other, the computers can pull out the individual transmissions, but of course we've all been stepped on. We all know that that can happen on FT8. I don't know. I don't quite know how to circle that square. If you have any thoughts, leave them down below. So that's it, guys. SOTAmate. It is fantastic. I highly recommend it. Try using it on one of your more adventurous activations and see how it works for you. Don't forget these videos on Grand Canyon.
Bottom of the Grand Canyon. This is going to be a special one. We're way up this mountain.
This is the operating station here.
Kilo Echo 0 Victor India Mike, park to park.
The traveler has come.
He was a huge, beastly, bulging man. Plates were from